Good afternoon, everyone. Seeing as we've got a couple of people in the chat, I thought I'd kick the stream off about 10 seconds early. So I hope you're all well. Numbers have been coming in as usual this week. So I've been frantically putting them on. And it's always a bit of a mystery as to who we're going to get in the stream. So I thought I'll keep the suspense going at the moment. If anybody wants to join, what I normally do is anyone who sends me the link, they get sends me numbers, gets sent the link. So it's a cut and paste job. So I know I send it to some people who don't do YouTube. But today we have James. How you doing, James? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. How's your week been?
Yeah, I've had man flu from Thursday onwards. I've still got a bit of it now, so not the best, but no excuses, really. There's excuses coming up, shall we say, but there shouldn't be excuses.
Well, we all get ill at some point. So, yeah, you have to take that. My Liz's had a cold, and my son's also had a cold for about 2 weeks. And I keep telling him to go to bed early and try and get better, but he doesn't pay any attention to me. He's up till all hours. So you're on the mend, do you think?
Yeah, I think a couple more days and I'll be fighting fit. But the car boots were called off at the weekend as well with rain. I don't know if yours were the same, but so no sourcing this weekend either. It's probably a good thing to make me rest kind of thing. But looking this week, the death pile's getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, so it's going to be tough.
I'm in the same situation. I was thinking the last boot fair I went to wasn't last Sunday, but it was a Sunday before that. Now, normally I would be doing 3 a week, but my one on Saturday has stopped. And I just haven't. I think I missed one because I was away. So I've been away this week as well. So I've got a few days out of the office. So numbers are down, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. It is what it is. So we'll say hello to everyone who's in the chat. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful, what is it, Tuesday. So Gary's in. How you doing, Gary? He's listing his trainers, no doubt. Pete's in. We'll have to get Pete on one day. Get him in here because he's always sending his numbers in. I've managed to strike a deal with him involving, what is it, a couple of Wii guitars and a Game Gear. So that's good. Ernst Den. We've got numbers from Ernst Den. And Sam, I got your numbers. Thanks for that. Damien, you should send your numbers in because I know you're a generalist, much like myself and James and a lot of other people in the chat. So Damien did actually, what was he saying? I think on my Monday stream, he was saying motivation was a little bit difficult at the moment. Are you finding that sometimes, James? Yeah, I
mean, this week's been hard getting back into it because normally I'll work up until sort of Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday I just post the drafts and just concentrate on the car boots. But because I've been sort of bed bound, it's really hard to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Yesterday was okay because I had a lot of orders to pack, but today, coming into the shed, trying to get my 10 listings up has been tough.
Yeah, it's been really weird. I mean, I've found that I've been struggling to do listings and get myself motivated with listings. I know what I should do. Like you say, it's the fact there's very kind of little new fresh stock around. I always find it more difficult to sort of delve into something I got like 3 months ago that wasn't appealing to list then. And I do seem to be packing a lot more. It must be as a result of the 70 listings I was doing for the first sort of like 5 weeks. It's sort of like caught up with me. So God knows what it would be like if I was one of these people who lists over 100 things in a week.
Yeah, I think what I've realised as well, what I need to do next year is when I go to the car boots when the season's on, is maybe put 10 or 15% away in the loft. Because now we're coming into winter, it's kind of thinking, how are we going to source the stock all over winter? But that's easier said than done because you know what it's like when you come back from the car boot sale. You want to get everything up.
You kind of want to get it on. I mean, having a kind of, set amount that you do might actually lend itself to that if you are sourcing enough. What I did this year was every sort of Nintendo DS and little handheld I got, I put that to one side just because I knew the value would be greater in Q4. And I've got to say thanks to Lee, who actually put a comment on my video saying I can get a lot more for the DSs I was drafting up yesterday. So I might try and get a bit of a better price on it. Richard's in. Good to see you, Richard. Hope you're well. Shabba got his numbers and Di. And when I go through your numbers, what's this? Listening to MBV. That might be My Bloody Valentine. I don't know. It's a guess. While listing a Panasonic EZ40, those Panasonic EZs, I do like them, but a lot of the time they are broken.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm right, Di, if it's My Bloody Valentine, then I think that's a tap point to me.
I think so. I Tom's in.
Tom is one of my original inspirations to become a reseller, so it's his fault. Check out Tom, one of the OG resellers, always worth checking out. Lee is in as well. Secret Carpet is in. Josh is in. I've barely been listing much at all for a couple of weeks, but my sales are on fire relative to my store. Looking forward to Christmas. Yeah, the Christmas, you can always sort of, get good sales in Christmas. The mistake is to think that's the norm, because may not be the same for everyone, but I always find around about February, it kind of like nosedives. And you have that period between February and about late March, April, or Easter time, where you're not going to boot fairs or for sourcing. So be wary. Q4 is something to look forward to. A lot of people take January off for reselling, but I've never done that.
I've heard people do that because the Christmas rush is normally pretty good, and then January goes a bit quiet. But you're right. I think February, March is a tough months.
Yeah. Happy Chap is asking if I've done 3 a week this year. Yeah, during the I was actually doing 4 a week, because I do the Wednesday one that Pete, and then on Saturday I'll try and sometimes I do 2. I do Rose Hill and then go over to Priest Hill, not always successfully, and then Sunday I'd be at Hook or one of the other local ones around me. But yeah, it's been about a week and a half since I've been to a boot fair. Richard's in. I've got Richard's numbers. Thanks for your numbers. Andrew Collier. My numbers are low. Gary's numbers are amazing. I don't know if I've got your numbers, Gary. So I don't think I have, actually. So do put them in the chat. But like I say, I've got Mandy's numbers. She put them on my Monday stream. Now, everyone's in who has submitted numbers. People just love to see their own numbers. I love it. That is who is RS? I'm terrible with names, as Richard knows. Here we go. Loveless, My Bloody Valentine. Yes, one of the best albums of all time. Mm-hmm. Soft as Snow and all the other classics on there. Masterpieces. Ian is in. Good to see Ian. Right, shall we get going then?
Yes,
yeah.
Let's
get
what else is done.
Yeah, let's get this done and dusted. I need to get back on with listing. So, like I say, I've got little comments on Instagram for people who have submitted. But if I do mention your numbers, it looks like we've got a lot of people in the chat who've submitted numbers. Do tell us about a bit about your week, how it's been, why it's good, why it's bad, as usual. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? So let's share the screen. I'll just look at it myself there. So, listed. As always, not a competition. Didn't hear from Faye and Simon this week talking about being competitive. So, I don't know if they're going to be in the chat, but it'd be good to know your numbers. I know Faye was hoping to get her numbers up, so I hope she did. I was also hoping to get my numbers up, but I was away over the weekend, so I only listed 32, which is not good, really. I think I didn't list for a couple of days, and there were a couple of days where I listed about 7 things, and I kept thinking I'm going to catch up, but I didn't. But there you go. Like I say, I was out and about, but still managed to sell 41. So, nice. Like I say, that number, that 41 number, a few weeks ago it was 25. But I am seeing a little bit of a tail off on turnover, monetary value has gone, down under a level, but it's still way above, my minimum, which is good. But if you're like, I think it's the same with anyone. If you regularly hit over 5,000. When it goes below that, you worry. If you regularly hit over 3,000, and I'm sure it's the same that if you're hitting 10,000 or one, or you're just starting and you've hit 1,000. I remember my first month reselling. I think I did 900, and I was like, "This is amazing. This is brilliant.
This is great." Yeah,
and then you kind of think, "Well, actually, I need to be doing, at least about 4,000 or something if you're full time." So. Right, we do have Gary's numbers submitted on the chat. So let's have a look. He's listed. He's big. He's big and he's fat, and it's a 0. So I'm kind of a bit envious, really. That'd be nice if you knew you were going to do that. If you just sort of like said, next week, forget it. You could actually relax and enjoy it. Now I've only done 32, but I've probably been stressing out about the fact that I haven't done enough. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing about. We're doing another 3 weeks of these, and even though I've loved doing it, I'll be glad to have a little bit of a break from it.
Yeah, of course.
It does put the pressure on. It does put the pressure on. It's still sold 30 items, though, which I'm sure will be good value on those as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, here we are, Robin. Yes, I did get your numbers. You're quite right. Yes, I've got them on here as well. So it was... And I've got your comments as well. So Andrew, let's have a look at Andrew. He's listed 35, so it looks like a 5 a day. He sold 24. I can't remember whether he's full-time or part-time. But he said that a lot of people have been talking. Hello, Angela Zatic. Good to see you. A lot of people are talking about GSP sales and whether they're going up. Have you found your GSP sales have gone up at all, James? Or?
No, not so much. I mean, I've heard murmurings about GSP, and I think they're bringing it over in the US a bit more now, where they're looking at potentially holding your money until the customer says the item's been delivered. But I don't know whether that's just an American thing. I don't know whether that's going to be just for new accounts or whatever it may be. So I'm not overly worried at the moment. But GSP sales haven't really gone up as much for me. They've stayed about where they are. So I know Joypads in the chat is saying their GSP is insane at the moment. So
I just saw that, and a few people are saying it's because of the pounders nosedive, so obviously the American, US are getting more value out of what they're spending.
Possibly, yeah.
And I guess that's the sort of stock that Bill has. Those trading cards. You do find there's a lot of interest in the States for them. So if the price suddenly comes into range, you can see why it might be there. The change in GSP. Tommy mentioned it yesterday on my stream, and. I hadn't heard that GSP was ending or changing, but from what I gathered from what he said, this is Tommy Bernard, who lives in Texas, I think. Yeah. They're changing it so that all of the sort of import taxes and all of those huge amounts that they put on the post is not loaded like at the kind of front end. So I think what someone in America will pay suddenly becomes a lot lower, but then when it's delivered, then they have to sort out the tax. And that's purely from what I understood from a little, 3-line comment that came in from Tommy. But he knows his stuff. So, right, here we go, James.
Yeah.
So you've been every week for 6 weeks, 70 listings. Mm-hmm. So, and I've tried to keep up with you. I've fallen by the wayside. Have you done 70?
Not this week.
No. The man flu. Tell us about your week. Sorry.
Yeah, so I had listings scheduled for Thursday and Friday, and it was Thursday evening I first started to feel a bit like, not starting to feel great. Yeah. And then Friday listings went out, and then Saturday and Sunday I didn't get out of bed. So it happens, and it made me realise that actually I need to think about more of a sort of draft bank, not just when you're going away on holiday. When you're feeling rubbish, when you feel ill and stuff. So, only 50 up.
Yeah. But have you still got a good amount of sort of like stock death pile to sort of delve into? And
I'd probably say I've got probably about 60 items left in the death pile. Plus, I've got some Lego that I haven't had chance to even look at and sort out. So I'll probably save that nearer to Christmas time, because that should be quite a good seller. But yeah, I definitely need to go out. I'm probably going to try and go to a boot sale tomorrow, maybe Thursday, definitely Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll probably go quite hard with buying next few days.
I'm going to a boot fair tomorrow, and hopefully the weather will be okay. And it's always my plan to sort of, right, I'm going to go out and spend, and it's just when you get there, like there's nothing here. It's full of rubbish.
Yeah,
so it is difficult. What's your plan for next week? Just get back on 70, or are you planning on sort of going above and beyond? Or
no, so I think I'll probably stick to 70. If I can get up to 90, that'd be great, because it kind of makes up for last week. But 2 days in so far, I've managed to do the 10 and 10 so far. But yeah, it's really just getting back on track to the 70. But if I can do a few more, I'll chuck them in.
That sounds like a reasonable plan. Just get back to 70 and go from there. And if you do more, then start your draft bank up maybe and go with that. So Gary was saying that there's a really interesting story behind the zero. So I'm wondering what that is now. That's kind of like got me. Very interested. So tell us more. Tell me more. Jack's at the dentist, so he's not listing. He's not packing. We've got a chance for next week. He's got maybe an hour out of doing all his work.
We've still got no chance. Let's be honest.
No chance. Although he has been taking it. He said he's been a bit lazy this week, so he's only done about 2,000.
Yeah.
Gary's GSP has gone crazy. If we join the EU, well, I'm not going to even go there because
we're out now. We're not going to rejoin.
Yeah, well, give it another generation. Who knows? We might all come to our senses. Dave, I bought stuff, sold some stuff. Can still afford a kettle. Well, give it time.
Yeah, I'm just
might be having cold tea. Who knows? Okay. You sold 83. Now that's a good sales.
Yeah, so I ran a sale on all of my books because they don't owe me anything now. I'm well in the profit on the book bundle I brought. And so I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to run a 50% off sale and just get the store moving. And I've probably sold since Thursday when I started to sell. I think I've done about 29 book bundles. Yeah. And 2 people bought 5 bundles, so that was quite a nice sale. And they paid the postage and asked me to combine postage, which is always nice. Yeah. So I made a bit of money on the postage. But yeah, just running a 50% off sale across the store on all books has really helped that. And it's gave my store a boost overall. So although I didn't get my listings up, the sales have been pretty nice.
I think that's so important. A lot of people will obviously you're focused on listing, and generally that's listing new stuff, but paying attention to that stuff that is hanging around your store, and I always feel like it drags it down. And if you imagine it as a bricks and mortar store, it's an item on the shelf that's gathered dust and not much has happened with it, and you want to get it out. The people, eBay wants to see you have new stuff in and out. They don't want to see you put stuff in your store and it's sit there not selling. So I think that is, even though no one ever knows the algorithm, it can't be good that if you put something on it and it just hasn't gone. So that's why a lot of people will do sell similar, but you always want to look at things to try and get rid of that old stuff. I've got a lot of old stuff, and it's something I need to sort of focus on as well. Rachel B, hello Rachel B, she's loving the listing league. It's very inspiring. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, like I say, I just like it because it is a mix of, you might have a good week, might have a bad week. You can see what other people are doing. And they're sort of just talking about your reselling week. I keep it very simple, as in terms of it's, what you put on and what you sold on eBay. Just because if it was too complicated, I don't think anyone would be bothered to submit any numbers because everyone's so busy. But anyone who submits numbers is always welcome to give a little bit of backstory to how their week has gone. So yeah, it is interesting to see an insight into people's how people's week has gone. Some people have good weeks, some people have bad weeks. So on to Die. We have a little comment here. So another looks like 5 a day. On 5 a day, sold 33. So that in and out is fantastic. almost the same. And it's been a mixed week. This reminds me, my turnover has been quite consistent over the past couple of months, I would guess. Always sort of like around about £200 a day, which is quite good. Sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. But and I put it purely down to listing. But how it used to be very much like it could be 250 and then 0 and up and down. And Dyer's had a week like this. It's a mixed week. Had over £240 on one day and 0 another day. Best sale is a £55 foot circulation machine. Now, I know those. I can't remember what they're called, but they come in a white and green box because I've missed out on one by like that much. I've never picked one up, so it's a bit of a bolo for me.
It begins with R. I can't remember the name of it because I
Revitalite. Is it Revitalite?
Something wrong because I saw one on and it was on my YouTube video and straight away in the comments people were saying if it's there next week, get it. Because
I don't know if Luke's in the chat, who's one of the local resellers to me, but he'll know what it's called. Revitive. There we go. Jack knows what it is.
Yeah,
Not only is he a gamer, he knows his foot massage, foot circulation, electric devices. But I missed out on one. I was at Hook, and I was bartering over a Wii bundle that I didn't really want. Mm-hmm. And then I turned around and Luke was getting a Revitive out of in the box for £6, which he sold the same day for like about £90.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, yes, it's all about the timing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Dyer's done well there. And he's written here, I read this wrong actually. He said he got £42 for a 5,000 new jigsaw. And I read it as he got 42,500 for a new jigsaw. But he said, I thought that's
all right. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you go and get a nice car or something with that. But, yeah, Damien says 3 of them, they almost sell instantly. I think it's one of those things that people might get and then think it's a good idea, put it in the cupboard and never use, and then they kind of get cleared out. It feels like one of those sort of things. But yeah, I'm always trying to get one, and I've seen other people pick them up. I've never managed to get one myself. Lee's in, and I just said at the start, Lee, thanks for your comment on the List 5 Live on the DS's and the Game Boys. I will put the price up and take some really. He said it's all about the presentation, and so I'm going to try and take some nice photos of them. Lee, I don't know if you got your numbers. Put them in the chat if you have. Let us know. Right, here's Bill's numbers. Now I can probably talk about this in the chat because he's done 112 listed.
Nice.
Which is nice. I don't know if they're all Pokemon cards or what. 43 sold. So yeah, it's kind of like a standard listing week for Bill, I think. So here we go. About 70 of mine are variations on multi-quantity listing. So that probably, that sort of thing is, I've got some of those, I think, where, what have I got it for? I've got it for like Simpsons chess pieces, where you have the different chess piece. I don't think you're allowed to do that for games, actually. I know someone who did it and eBay didn't like it. But for stuff like, cards, shirts is a good one. If you've got all the same make of like a new shirt, you can put colour red and all things like that in different sizes. But he's had to picture every one. So, yeah. Cool. Yeah, that still counts. If they're different variations, if they were 70 of the same thing, it's only one listing. That's the rule.
Yeah, don't cheat, Bill.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'll just put 5. Find a big multi-quantity listing. That will get my numbers up.
Yeah.
Right, Sam, I think was put this in my comments. I don't know if Sam's in the chat. Oh, Lee's saying he sent me his numbers. Okay, well, I will have to find them. Let's have a look. So, Sam, good numbers again. 100 in, 108 out. I don't know what Sam... Do you know what Sam sells? Is it gaming or... I've got no idea.
I can't remember now.
Yeah, I can't remember. He probably has told me.
I've heard about it before, but...
Right, let's have a look and see if I can find Lee's numbers. We're having a big long conversation about how to improve listings.
Oh, Pete, that's a good point where you look for that. Neil's saying about the new listing tool. I got the dreaded email today about the new listing tool, but they haven't actually switched me over yet. Are you on the new listing tool or not?
Well, is that the one that was introduced a couple of months ago and you could try it? Yeah, I went on it straight away.
Oh, you did? You switched across?
Because I like uploading videos, so you couldn't upload video on the old one. But occasionally I do find a glitch with it. It's silly things like I can't actually click my cursor in the pop-up box. And annoying things like that. And there was another like silly one where I was typing something and I forget what it was. It was like it wouldn't let me do uppercase or something ridiculous. So occasionally I switch back, but no, I quite like it. I know a lot of people do have problems with it. So. I do have Lee's numbers here. Yes, I've just had to go back about 2 pages on Instagram. So Lee normally is listed, good numbers. I think he's trying to do about 12 a day, but he's listed 63 this week. His listing is a little bit low because he's been sourcing, going out, really hitting the sourcing, which again is fair enough. That's always a good priority just before the boot fair's end to sort of concentrate on that. He sold 57, so nice. Again, good ins, good outs, and it'll be good value stuff. A mix of stuff. I know Lee he gets really good prices. He has some really high end stuff. Does a range of sort of like gaming. It does bits of furniture and sort of other generalist stuff as well. Right, here we go. Have we got a chance? Jack, who is consistently listed around about 150, I think. The man machine himself, he's listed 85, and he's just said he's just been a bit lazier than normal, which I think he deserves to have a little.
That's not bad for being lazy. 85.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
it's not. We can't get 70 up,
Yeah, I'm working. If I'd have done 85, I think I'd need a holiday.
Yeah.
So there we go. 85 in, and considering that Jack lists hundreds every week, his solds are still up there at 188. So well done, Jack. He is a monster. He does very well, and he was interested in sort of like listening to what he was saying last week about his sourcing and how he does it. It's but I don't fancy all that VAT business. I don't like the sound of that.
No, I'd want to say just under it. I'd want to say.
Yeah, I think my kind of ideal turnover in a year would be about 60,000. So if I could hit that and be totally like find really good efficiencies and find time for myself, because that's one of the important things to me is to sort of like do this. And I was going to ask people actually whether they have a set working day. Do you have a set working day at all, James, or is it sort of?
I try to come in the shed about 8 in the morning, and I tend to like to finish, if possible, around 3 o'clock. Is when I tend to like to finish with the listings and the postage and packaging, and the rest is just a bonus. But it's not set in stone, because sometimes I'll come out in the evening, between sort of 7 and 10, and do a bit of extra work if I've got nothing on. But I think it's important to have that. The work-life balance is key, and I think that's why a lot of us do this.
Totally. I mean, it's the most important thing to me, really. And I'm similar to you. Like, I kind of I normally wake up about 7. That's when the kids actually leave to sort of go, and then I sort of will normally go to the post office first thing in the morning, so I'll go out for a walk. And then I will work up to about my dinner time, really. And I don't like doing a lot of work after that. I might get a few things ready to list the next day, so like just prep for the next day. But I try and do photos in the morning as well, because the light's sort of better. But even though, I mean, I have got big umbrella lights, but I haven't got them out for ages, because they're just such a
too much hassle sometimes to set up. If you've got good enough lighting, it's okay, but to get the umbrella lights out is a bit of a job.
Yeah, I keep thinking about getting those LED sort of panels you can get. I think Nick's got some, and a lot of people use ring lights. But I just go by daylight, really.
Yeah.
Okay, Mandy, she's always flipping. Now, Mandy is a consistent 15 a day, 105 a week. So I thought I knew where it was. This week she's done 140. So she's obviously found just another couple of days in the week somewhere. She's put a couple of new days in. It's fantastic. The Flipping Hustler currently have what's that? 1,846 listed on eBay. That is a big old number. 503 sold in the last 90 days. I don't know how many I've sold in the last 90 days. Let's have a look. Let's compare and contrast. Have you got that? Have you got that number, James?
I have. So I've got at the moment 627 active. So I'm quite light on listings at the moment.
Right, 627. I'll tell you how many I've got because it's at that front screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you go to selling, I've got 803, but I know some of those are at zero quantity, so it's probably about 760.
But my solds are pretty good. So 627 active and 836 sold.
That's incredible. I really like it when those numbers, the sold number is either the same or more than what you've got active. Mine is 375. So I think what that's doing this has made me realise it's so important that that balance has got to change a bit. Although some people like having the items on the store to have the sort of like the value in the store, but there you go.
Yeah.
Neil's trying to get a sale. Right. Okay. Thanks, Neil. I will talk to you about that. That'd be good. Quality numbers. Yeah, good numbers there.
Yeah.
You can be more than happy with that, can't you? It's it is kind of like the point of it is to sell. That's what I always have to remind myself.
We're not storage companies. That's what we've always got to remember, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Mandy sold 77. So I think that's a little bit less than normal, but I don't know whether she's been away or not. I can't remember. Now, Luke, who is local to me, and a lot of people in the chat will know, Lee knows him, and Happy Chat, Peter Stride knows Luke. I spoke to him on Friday, and I was sort of saying, my numbers are really down. It's going to be terrible on Tuesday when I do the listing league. And he was saying, yeah, my numbers are down as well. And I was thinking, well, this is all right. He's down, I'm down. And he spent the whole weekend listing. So I think he done next to nothing. And then the next thing I know, he's done 62. So he's almost done 10 a day. And his sales are up as well. This is RS who sent through numbers through for the first time. So thanks for sending these through. What did you say about them? Let's have a look. So 13 listed. Part-time reseller, selling a mix of everything, do it along with your full-time job. So yeah, brilliant. Normally tries to list about 4 a day, which is a good plan, really, just a set amount a day, and 17 sold.
Nice.
So nice. All like nice bonus, sort of if you've got a full-time job, all just nice extra sort of holiday money. Mm-hmm. Here's Peter Stride, who I think had a bit of a low week last week, but he's back on it with 90 listed. Tell us about your week, Pete, in the chat. I know you're in there. How's it been? Everyone's putting in their 3-month numbers. So, yeah, it's good to see those numbers. I won't read them all out. People can just read them in the chat. And Pete sold 74. So, again, he must be... Some of these numbers, like I know Pete's a bit of a generalist. I mean, I think having like 40, 50 things to pack, can take up so much time. It must take a huge amount of time. I imagine even though Jack has huge high sales, I may be wrong, but I kind of think a lot of them would be easy to pack if they're gaming. I don't know about what his audio stuff is like, if it is, actual amplifiers or whether it's just like a wires or something. But
yeah, I reckon the audio stuff he sells is the bulky stuff, I can imagine.
Yeah, ease of packing is key. And I mean, that's one thing Daily Refinement goes on about is, if you've got like multi-quantity listings of all the same stuff, the ease of packing is important. Richard has had a few things on, so his listing numbers are 1. They were 0 last week, but I think life is sort of getting in the way, but that's fair enough. It's I'm grateful that you submit your numbers and just let us know. I'm sure, well, knowing Richard, we'll given a few weeks' time, he'll just be listing crazy amounts. But he's got other things to deal with at the moment, so that's fair enough. He's still busy. Still busy on the packing side, though. But that's through sort of months and years of listing loads and loads on eBay.
Yeah.
Peter Retro, did he put any comments in? Let's have a look.
Peter Retro had a great sale. He was speaking to me about it last night at my live. He sold a guitar for PlayStation 4, and I think he got over £100 for it.
Oh, I saw him talking about that. Was it like a PS4 one? It was I saw the photo of it.
It's like a band hero or something along them lines. I had a look at it earlier. It looks like a nice guitar, but yeah, he done really well with that.
I've had some luck with some of those guitars, like the specialist ones, but it's not something I will pick up a lot, to be honest. I've got a couple downstairs that I kind of got as part of a bundle. I have sold them if they're boxed, but kind of like if you're just picking one up, they're a bit of a pain to package. They're kind of okay. I think I know Peter Stride sells a lot of them, and he's obviously got the packing of them down to a T. So me, it just does my head in. Shabba, 42 listed, 26 sold. I think again that's just a mix of general items. Here we are. What's he said? He sells anything and everything. Oh, that was his comment from last week. So I guess he's still selling anything and everything.
Same old.
Yeah. And Square One Shop. Let's have a look. Here we go. Listed 49, which again is similar. It's amazing how similar these numbers are week on week. And like I've said it before, it's probably because you do have your routine and you do have the same items you source and the same items you sell. So, this is why it can't be a competition, because if I look at my 32 and 41, or even if it was higher, like if it was 70, and I looked at, I don't know, Mandy or Jack, where he normally is, I don't think there's any way I could sort of like change what I do and suddenly get to where Jack is in a short space of time. It's how that whole kind of like approach to the business and what you source and how you do it has obviously been formulated over months and years. So, it's any change in reselling, happens slowly, I think. So, Richard's talking about his one listing. He got one more sale than last week because of that one listing. Yeah, it's true. If it listed, it will sell. Was that one listing worth like 10 grand, or was it like a fiver?
Yeah, probably. It pays for the year.
Yeah, we shall see. Right, there we go. I think that is it. What's there meant to say? Paula Marie, this is, and listed 105. So again, great listing numbers. I think that is 15 a day. So 7.5 each, and sold 146. And I think were they the people? Yes, they've got 2 stores. They list 5 on one store every day, and that's clothes and shoes, niche store, and 10 on the other one, which is more generalist. And they're just sort of like trying that to see if it's worth niching. And I think I'd be interested to hear how that goes.
I think it's a good idea, and I have thought about the same maybe next year of doing exactly that. Open up a new eBay store for a niche, and then keeping my generalist store, because I think I'd miss picking up all the generalist things, but maybe to try and have a secondary store which is a niche store. So something coming. So I'll be interested to see how that goes for them.
Yeah, well, definitely. I do keep us. If you do, James, let us know. And Ems, then let us know how it goes. The legends started not to believe Jack. Well, believe it. Honestly, Jack is really focused on what he does. He sources in large amounts. He's got the setup so he can do it. He's very focused on getting stuff listed. Works very hard at it. There is no limit with eBay. Well, I guess there's a limit if you're one person. I don't think you could be doing more than 200 listings a day. And he's on previous streams, he said how much he's got on his store. And, you know, it's... I don't think anyone would come on here and make up the numbers because it's like I say, there's no point really. I wasn't happy with my numbers, and it was a bit like, I wish it was higher, but it is what it is. You know, I don't mind saying I've done 32. If I listed 500, I'd come on here and list 500. It's not a brag. It just what it is. What it is. So
yeah, I also believe with him as well. He's got his process nailed on.
Yeah,
he knows exactly the way to list things, what he lists quickly.
Yeah.
Where I think I'm more of a everything seller constantly. You're constantly having to think about how to stage photos, how to change the item specifics and stuff. So I think for him, it's a production line.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, and I feel like I'm the same as you. I can get an item, and I can and ah over it for absolutely ages. And I imagine Jack will, go to his contact or go to his auction. He'll come back with a load of stuff that he's probably sold like hundreds of times before. He'll have a big pile of it, and he'll go, right, I'm going to do those separately. I'm going to bundle that. He'll whip through them. They're gaming is relatively easy to photograph, front, back, inside, spread out, however he does it, 6 photos, 12 photos, whatever. And, it probably doesn't take much time at all for him to go through it. And again, the packing, I mean, we've actually seen him packing while he's been live on this stream because he'll be sat there going like this and he's working all the time. So I mean, it's inspirational to see, but like I say, I don't think for me to sort of be in that same ballpark, I don't think it's going to happen because you'd have to find like a contact and know about that niche as well, which I haven't got that real deep specialist knowledge of gaming. But no, it's great. It is great to see. Right, I better let you go. I've kept you longer than I do normally. Thanks ever so much for joining me, James. I hope you do feel better. And I will try and do 70. You can try and do 70 next week.
70 is going to happen regardless because I'm going to get rid of the Steph pile. I'm going to source during the week as well as the weekend. So 70 is going to happen. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone who's joined us on the chat. Do hit the like. Do put a comment if you put a little. It does help the eBay algorithm. It might help the eBay algorithm.
It will help.
Who knows?
You get a boost on eBay.
Exactly. It helps algorithms worldwide, and everybody wants to help an algorithm. There are links into sort of almost everyone's channel who's appeared on or submitted numbers. And if I've missed anyone, let me know, and I'll add it onto the comment on the video. Just gets copied and pasted. So if you want a link in, let me know. But have a good week, and I will see you next Monday for List 5 Live. Take it easy.
See you later.